Birds of Prey number 25, written by Christy Marks, art by Romana Molinar, Daniel Sampier, Travis Moore, and Scott McDaniel. It is a 0-year tie-in, and it shows that Dinah Drake was living in Gotham back during the beginning of Batman. So we open up 6 years ago in the bad part of town where Dinah is currently running a dojo, and apparently was run by a man named Sensei Desmond Lamar. And as she's running a class one day, a couple of thugs come in and basically say, "Hey, Blondie, we gotta talk to you." And she, of course, does not take kindly to that, saying, "This is my dojo. You will call me Sensei while you're here." And she's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, in not so many words, we are running a racketeering bracket, and we would like money in order for you to stay open." And she says, "You had a deal with the previous guy." And it's like, "Yeah, and then he died, so we're going to work out a thing here." So they basically threaten her, saying, "Hey, we're going to take the money." And she says, "You're welcome to try." They start going to attack her. She fights back and immediately takes out all the guys and says, "Now, here's the deal they were actually going to have. This dojo is neutral ground. I won't deal with you as long as you don't come down here for me. Got it?" And kicks them all out. And everyone in the class is like, "All right, great job." And as the class is about to start up again, one of the boys leaves saying, "Hey, I'm sorry. I got to leave, though. They live on my street, so I can't be seen here." So at that point, we see the class continues. Night comes, she's cleaning up, and she's like, "Yeah, I've lost a lot of students for that reason, and I can't seem to be able to find more. And if that's the case, like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to keep this dojo open." And then we get the flashback as she visits her sensei's gravestone. Apparently, he was a soldier, and we see her basically breaking into the dojo via an unlocked back door. She finds a pizza there, starts eating it, and Sensei Desmond comes out saying, "Hey, that's my pizza. What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, don't touch me. I'll bite you." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, where do you live, kid? What's going on?" And turns out that Dinah lives in a foster home. Her parents just didn't want her. Her mom gave her up, and she ran away from the foster home because they are awful to her there, and she didn't want to live there anymore. So Desmond's like, "Okay, here's the deal. I need someone to clean my dojo. I need someone to like scrub the windows and stuff like that. If you can do that, then you can stay here, and I'll make sure that you're always fed. Deal?" And she's like, "What? I'm just supposed to take you at your word?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go home, but whatever you want until tomorrow morning." So next morning, she wakes up and finds him on the roof. He is Muslim, so he's doing prayers in the morning, and he basically explains, "Hey, I do this every morning. It's my morning prayers, and each sunrise, it's a brand new day, and anything can happen. So let the old you wash away as a new day starts." So we see him running the dojo, and he teaches these kids who come in who just want to learn how to fight basic like respect and humility as well as fighting. So Dinah watches and she fights just kind of in her own spare time. Desmond sees this and tries to give her some pointers. She's like, "I don't need it." And he's like, "All right." But then she comes to see him more and more as a father figure. She gets trained properly, and over the years she grows up with him. So finally, one day he's doing his morning prayers. She brings up some tea for him, and turns out he's been having headaches and he has brain cancer. Doesn't have much time left, and he says, "Look, I'm leaving the dojo to you. You've practically been running it while I've been getting more and more sick, so I trust you to do things properly. And even if the dojo doesn't end up staying, then wherever you take it with you, you take my teachings with you." So at that point, we skip ahead back to present day. Dinah's down on the subway with a bunch of people, and all of a sudden, power kicks out. And everyone's freaking out, but Dinah takes charge, says, "Anyone with flashlights, light the way for people without them. Everyone follow me. We're going to walk down walk down the tunnels to the next station." And people are like, "Okay, I like her. She's taking charge. Let's go. Let's follow her." So then we cut to, I guess, the military at this point, because it's not Team 7, but we cut to Lynch, who is second in command of this other guy who I don't think we get a name for. And they're basically saying, "Yep, Gotham's been knocked out. It's an EMP. We had a guy in there named Yi, and he has a tracking thing that's EMP proof. So send a team down into Gotham, find him, and see what he knows about this." So they get down there. Dinah, meanwhile, is cleaning up the dojo during the power outage, and a brick goes through her window. She thinks it's gang stuff related, but as she steps out, she sees that the entire street is just being looted because all the power's out. And she sees a little Vietnamese woman across the street getting her store robbed, and she starts beating up the guys that are looting it. But it all seems to be a losing battle because it's just more and more people swarming in constantly. So she looks down an alley and she sees this man, we find out is Yi. He hands over a little box to Dinah and says, I'm going to die. I need you to have this. Give it to Lynch. Don't let them take it. And then he dies. And we see down the end of the alleyway is a bunch of literal ninjas who say, hey, give us that box. And she says, no. So she starts beating up the guys as best she can, but of course they are actual ninjas, so she's forced to go on the defensive for a while. And she starts running through the alleys of Gotham saying, look, my only chance is I know this neighborhood like the back of my hand, but they might not know that, so let's hope for that. Meanwhile, as she's running throughout the night, Lynch catches up to the body of Yi, and says, okay, his tracker is still moving. It's going down like a nearby street. There's these ninja guys, one of them still conscious. He commits suicide right in front of them saying, okay, that's hardcore. Anyway, let's go get the tracker. So we see that Dinah's still managing to fight. She's been fighting for hours now. She's been kicking them off as they like cut her off and whatnot, until finally she runs into essentially a dead end and she's surrounded by ninjas. And the leader of the group says like, hey, good job. You survived us. Give us the box and we'll let you go free. And Dinah's like, I don't think you're going to let me go free. And he's like, no, we are not, but we're still going to take that box. So they all jump in. She starts beating them up as best she can, one at a time. She's doing her best, but eventually they get the drop on her, and one of them has nunchucks that they wrap around her throat. And she's, by the way, every time she throws a punch, she gives like this super loud, like, hi-ya noise. So she's doing her best, but eventually the one that's got the nunchucks on her gets shot in the head. And everyone's like, what? Huh? And then everyone else starts dropping like flies as well. Only one of them manages to escape, seemingly the leader. And in walks Lynch and the rest of his team. And they say, hey, you've got our tracker. We would like that back, please. And it's like, hey, thanks for finally catching up. I've been fighting those ninjas nonstop. And it's like, oh, you're the one who left that trail of bodies? That's impressive. Where's our box? And she's like, here you go. Are you Lynch? Here you go. And they've got a med kit. They start patching her up and saying, hey, look, thanks. You kept it safe. We'll bring you back home. So they drive back home, and Dinah starts asking questions like, who was that guy? What's the box? Why are there ninjas? And Lynch is like, I don't have to answer any of that because it's classified. But the guy worked in a generator like company. He had an advanced version of this capacitor that basically would be able to give off an EMP the way that we saw it. So we think that that guy might have had something to do with the guy who knocked out the power to Gotham. And she's like, okay, so what about the ninjas? And he's like, I don't know. That's weird even for me. But regardless, we'll get into it. Don't worry about it. So as they drop her back off at the dojo, it's up in flames. The whole thing is on fire. It's gone. There's no way of saving it. And Lynch is like, oh, geez, I'm sorry. Is there anywhere else you can say? And he's like, no, that was pretty much my whole life in there. And he's like, all right, well, in that case, I've had worse reasons for recruiting new soldiers. If you want a place to stay and you are willing to take a bit more extra training, have I got a job for you? And Dinah's like, I guess this is where my life is taking me now, just like Sensei Desmond said. So she says, I'm in. And she says, if the storm's coming in, so it's blocking the sunrise, but I know it is sunrise behind there. So here's to the start of a new me. And that's what we get. I like it. I think it's so much more interesting as a backstory for Dinah than all the stuff about her dead husband. Like, I was so bored with that, but that's literally all the backstory we have ever gotten with her. Is just, she was on Team 7, she met her husband, and then he died. And we just keep looping through that over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm so bored with it. I'm so done with it. The fact that we managed to get this new thing of she was in foster home, she learned to fight because of this. Like, this should have been a zero issue, all things considered. I can't even remember what the zero issue for this series was, but 95% guess It was Team 7. So, yeah, I'm down with this book. I think it was really well done. Art style was also great. My only, even minor critique is it kind of feels like it's leaning on like Basilisk is going to like somehow be responsible for Zero Year just because ninjas and stuff. And like, please no. I really don't want that for Basilisk to be involved at all, even if it's in just like a nothing tie-in to Zero Year. Still, keep that away. But again, they didn't outwardly do that. It's not necessarily the case, so I'll take this as a win. I'm going to say this is a 7.5. Definitely a better issue out of Birds of Prey. I have been enjoying it since Christy Mark has been on the book, but it takes a lot to undo like 20 issues of just not great writing the whole way there. So, yeah, 7.5.